The story begins with a teenage girl named Dani Moonstar, who was asleep in her home when her father suddenly rushed in and woke her up. Outside, terrifying noises echoed through the night. Dani asked what was happening, but her father simply told her they had to run. The two of them rushed outside as fast as they could. Her father grabbed her hand and warned her not to let go. But before they got very far, their house exploded behind them. Dani looked back in horror, completely terrified. She kept asking what was going on, but her father didn't answer. Instead, he hid her inside the hollow of a large tree and told her to stay there no matter what. He said he had to go help the others. Dani begged him not to leave, but he ran off anyway. Just moments later, he was already dead. Frozen with fear, Dani bolted into the forest. As she ran, she felt something massive chasing her through the trees. She couldn't see what it was. Desperate to escape, Dani lost her footing, tumbled down a steep hillside, and was knocked unconscious. When she finally woke up, she found herself strapped to a hospital bed. She struggled free, dragged the bed toward the window, and looked outside. The facility was completely isolated, surrounded by nothing but empty land. She screamed at the security camera mounted in the room, then rushed to the door, but it was locked tight. A woman's voice came through the speaker, calmly telling her not to panic because she was safe. A few moments later, a woman in a doctor's uniform appeared outside the room. She introduced herself as Dr. Reyes and assured Dani that everything would be explained. Dani cautiously stepped back, while Dr. Reyes unlocked the door and entered. She untied Dani's restraints before sitting down beside her. Reyes admitted that what she was about to say would be difficult to hear. She explained that a powerful tornado had destroyed Dani's hometown, and she was believed to be the only survivor. But Dani immediately shook her head. She insisted it wasn't a tornado. Whatever attacked them sounded like a wild animal, and it had been chasing her. Dr. Reyes asked her what exactly she had seen, but Dani couldn't remember. Reyes suggested that after a traumatic event, the mind can sometimes create frightening memories that aren't real. She then handed Dani a small bear-shaped plastic pendant, explaining that it had been found with her father. As Dani held the pendant, hidden scanners quietly monitored and analyzed her from inside the room. Later, Dani asked why she was the only one who survived. Dr. Reyes gave her a tour of the hospital, explaining that it was a special place created for young mutants learning to control their abilities. Once they gained full control over their powers, they would eventually be allowed to return to their normal lives. Finally, she showed Dani her room. When Dani asked how long she'd have to stay there, Dr. Reyes gave her a cold but honest answer: "Until I'm certain you're not a danger to yourself or anyone else." With that, Dr. Reyes told her to get some rest and quietly left the room. The next day, Dr. Reyes gathered everyone for a group therapy session. Along with Dani, there were 4 other young mutants: Sam, Ileana, Roberto, and Ron. Reyes reminded them that she had asked everyone to think about the first time their mutant powers appeared. She invited someone to share, but Sam, Ileana, and Roberto all refused. Reyes sighed and said that unless they were willing to open up, she wouldn't be able to help them. Just then, Dani joined the group. Ron finally decided to speak. She explained that she was 13 when her powers first appeared. One day, while running through the woods, she unexpectedly transformed into a wolf. Terrified, she believed something was terribly wrong with her, so she went to a church hoping for help. Instead, the priest brutally beat her, calling her a witch. Unable to continue, Ron fell silent. Reyes then warned everyone that breaking the rules would lead to punishment, including spending the night in solitary confinement. After the session, she asked Ileana to show Dani around the facility. Outside, Dani asked where they really were. Ileana replied that Reyes claimed the nearest town was 20 miles away, but she believed that was a lie. When Dani pointed out there wasn't even a fence, Ileana smirked and told her she was free to leave anytime. In reality, Ileana knew escape was impossible. She just wanted to mess with her. Dani immediately tried to run. A few moments later, she slammed straight into an invisible energy barrier that sent her crashing to the ground. Blood trickled from her nose as she touched the glowing wall in disbelief. "This isn't a hospital, it's a cage, and you're trapped here forever." Furious, Dani charged at her, but Ileana instantly teleported away. Hidden nearby, Ron, still in her wolf form, quietly watched everything. Later, Dani climbed to the top of the clock tower and prepared to jump. Before she could, Ron found her and asked what she was doing. With tears in her eyes, Dani admitted she wanted to end her life. Ron gently told her that she wanted to escape too, but this wasn't the way. After a heartfelt conversation, Dani finally took Ron's hand, and together they walked back inside. Down in the courtyard, Dani spotted Sam practicing with his powers, wrapped in heavy chains to keep himself himself under control, he launched himself into the air using powerful shockwaves. But every attempt ended with him crashing violently back to the ground. Watching him struggle left Danny speechless. Later, they headed to the cafeteria, where Sam, Ileana, and Roberto were already waiting. Ron quietly filled Danny in on everyone. She explained that Sam had been an excellent student, but he had to leave school to work alongside his father in the coal mines. Roberto, on the other hand, came from an extremely wealthy family in Brazil. He had lived a perfect life until his parents sent him here, hoping treatment would help him control his abilities. That night, Ron walked Danny back to her room before heading to bed herself. As darkness fell, the facility switched into night mode. Security cameras continuously scanned every mutant's energy levels, and at first, everything appeared normal. Then Danny's readings suddenly spiked. Without anyone realizing it, her powers began affecting Sam. Danny possessed a terrifying ability. She could bring a person's deepest fears to life. While Sam was alone in the laundry room, strange sounds echoed from one of the washing machines. As he moved closer, the room suddenly transformed into the coal mine where he had once worked. He even saw his father standing there. Just as his father tried to speak, a massive explosion erupted. Sam snapped back to reality after crashing into a washing machine, completely shaken and unable to understand what had just happened. Meanwhile, Dr. Reyes watched everything closely through the surveillance system. The next morning, Danny and Ron were showering together when Danny noticed there were no cameras in the room. Ron quietly replied, "There aren't any cameras, but there are microphones. She can still hear everything." As they talked, Danny noticed a scar shaped like the letter W on Ron's shoulder. When she asked where it came from, Ron immediately went silent and walked away. The truth was far darker. That mark had been carved into her by the same priest who had called her a witch. The W stood for exactly that. Meanwhile, Sam stood alone in the bathroom, staring into the mirror. Suddenly, he started slapping himself over and over. He blamed himself for his father's death, and the guilt was slowly tearing him apart. Later, everyone gathered in the common room. Ron was watching a movie, Ileana was playing with one of her puppets, and Sam and Roberto were playing a video game. When Danny walked in, Ileana immediately started mocking her. Danny finally snapped and shoved her. Ileana's temper exploded. She summoned her glowing sword and lunged at Danny. But before anyone got hurt, Dr. Reyes rushed in and stopped the fight. As punishment, both girls were locked in solitary confinement. That night, Danny had a terrifying nightmare. She found herself standing in falling snow. Within seconds, the snow turned blood red, and a gigantic demon bear emerged from the darkness. She woke up screaming. The facility's scanners instantly detected a dangerous spike in her power levels and triggered an alert. Dr. Reyes hurried to Danny's room. When she opened the door, she found Danny covered in blood. Terrified, Danny asked, "What's happening to me?" She still had no idea that her own mutant powers were causing these horrifying events. The next morning, Dr. Reyes collected Danny's blood for more tests. She explained that they needed to understand Danny's abilities so they could teach her how to control them. Meanwhile, Ron was praying alone inside the chapel's confessional booth when she suddenly heard footsteps. The confessional door slowly creaked open by itself. Then she heard the voice of the same priest who had abused her years ago. Panicked, Ron ran out of the chapel. Later, Danny met Ron outside her room. At that moment, Ileana, Sam, and Roberto walked by on their way to a secret hangout and invited them to come along. The group entered what looked like a camera-free room. What they didn't know was that Dr. Reyes had secretly hidden cameras and microphones there to spy on them. Ileana pulled out a suitcase containing a lie detector. The group began asking each other questions for fun. When Sam asked Roberto how many girlfriends he'd had, Roberto bragged that he'd lost count, but the machine immediately exposed his lie. Then they asked Sam why he always carried a piece of coal. He quietly admitted it had been the last thing his father gave him before he died. Next, Ileana asked Danny about the small bear pendant she always wore. Danny explained that her father had given it to her when she was little because she was afraid of the dark. He used to tell her that everyone carries two bears inside them, one good and one evil. As people grow, those bears grow too. The more fear you feed them, the bigger they become. Her father gave her the pendant as a reminder to never let the bad bear grow stronger. Finally, Danny asked Ileana how she ended up at the facility. With a cold smile, Ileana claimed she had killed 18 people and declared herself the most powerful mutant there. Hidden in the surveillance room, Dr. Reyes listened carefully to every word. The following night, the group relaxed together again. Ron secretly led Danny through the ventilation system and out into the garden. They lay beneath the night sky as rain poured onto the invisible force field surrounding the facility, making it shimmer with glowing light. In that quiet moment, the two girls finally admitted their feelings and shared a gentle kiss. Meanwhile, inside the hospital, Roberto heard Ileana singing near the empty swimming pool. He joined her, and after some playful teasing, she invited him into the water. The two shared a kiss. But almost instantly, Roberto's mutant powers activated. His body began heating up uncontrollably, forcing him to pull away before he accidentally hurt her. He confessed that the first time his powers awakened, he had been kissing his girlfriend, and she was burned alive. Ileana calmly looked at him and said, "You can't hurt me." Then she teleported away, leaving Roberto alone with his painful memories. Roberto searched for Ileana around the pool. Suddenly, he saw the burned body of his former girlfriend standing behind him, the same girl who had died when his powers first awakened. It wasn't real. Danny's powers had brought Roberto's deepest nightmare to life. Terrified, Roberto stumbled out of the pool, screaming at the top of his lungs. The facility's emergency alarms immediately went off. Dr. Reyes rushed to the control room, checked the security cameras, and sprinted toward the pool. Sam, Danny, and Ron followed close behind. By the time they arrived, Roberto's entire body was engulfed in flames as he completely lost control of his powers. Thinking quickly, Dr. Reyes knocked him back into the pool with a control pole, extinguishing the fire. Once he calmed down, Roberto accused Ileana of trying to kill him. The two started arguing, and Dr. Reyes assumed Ileana had caused the incident. As punishment, she locked Ileana back in solitary confinement. The next day, Dr. Reyes injected Danny with a serum and began questioning her. Under its effects, Danny recalled the night everything happened. She remembered waking up, running with her father, and then the giant demon bear chasing them through the forest. As she dug deeper into the memory, disturbing new visions appeared. She saw mutant children being tortured and forced to obey mysterious people. Danny screamed in panic. At that same moment, strange things began happening throughout the facility. Inside solitary confinement, Ileana watched her cell door slowly open by itself. A disturbing drawing suddenly appeared on the wall. Meanwhile, Ron was showering when she heard someone behind her. She turned around. It was the same priest who had abused her. Once again, Danny's powers had turned another person's worst fear into reality. The priest attacked Ron with his weapon. Ron instantly transformed into her wolf form and let out a terrifying howl. Hearing the screams, Dr. Reyes abandoned Danny's test and rushed to the bathroom. The moment she opened the door, Ron burst outside before changing back into her human form. A fresh wound had appeared across her neck, and she cried out in pain. Confused, Danny asked what was happening. Ileana pointed directly at her. "This is all because of you." She attacked Danny and grabbed her by the throat. But before she could hurt her, Danny's powers trapped Ileana inside one of her own terrifying hallucinations. Shocked, Ileana let go. Dr. Reyes immediately sedated her with another injection. As Ileana lost consciousness, she warned Reyes, "Danny is inside everyone's head. She's going to kill us all." Later, Danny visited Ileana's room and returned the puppet she had dropped earlier. She sincerely apologized, explaining that none of these horrifying events were intentional. For the first time, Ileana believed her. Meanwhile, Reyes received a confidential message from the Essex Corporation containing Danny's test results. The report labeled Danny as extremely dangerous. Its final order was simple: collect additional DNA samples, then terminate the subject. Elsewhere, Danny met with Ron. Ron gently reassured her that she wasn't afraid of her and that none of this was Danny's fault. Danny then revealed what she had seen during the memory test, that mutant children were being tortured and used for experiments. She no longer believed this place was a hospital. Reyes was hiding something. Moments later, Dr. Reyes called Danny in for another test. This time, her real mission was to kill her. Before leaving, Danny shared a quiet kiss with Ron. Ron asked to stay with her, but Dr. Reyes refused. She led Danny into another examination room, strapped her to a medical bed, and placed a mask filled with poisonous gas over her face. Meanwhile, Ron met up with Sam and Ileana in the hallway. Suddenly, they heard a little girl singing. The sound was coming from Ileana's room. When they arrived, they noticed the door had turned completely black. Ron ran to get Dr. Reyes while Ileana cautiously opened the door. Inside, a little girl was peacefully sleeping on the bed. Then a terrifying monster crawled out of the darkness beside her. Ileana screamed. The creature slowly turned its attention toward her. Sam quickly pulled her out of the room, convinced the monster was only another illusion. But then, the monster stepped out into the hallway, and it wasn't alone. More creatures emerged from the surrounding rooms, trapping them from every direction. One of the monsters grabbed Ilyana and started dragging her away. Without hesitating, Sam smashed a fire extinguisher into the creature, rescued Ilyana, and the two of them ran for their lives. Meanwhile, Reyes had already collected Danny's blood samples. Now she opened the valve, filling the room with poisonous gas. Danny immediately realized the truth. Dr. Reyes wasn't trying to help her anymore. She was trying to kill her. Danny screamed for help. Hearing her cries, Ron used her heightened sense of smell to track Danny's scent through the ventilation system. At the same time, Roberto was alone in the kitchen washing dishes when one of the nightmare creatures suddenly appeared behind him. Startled, Roberto unleashed his fire powers and incinerated the monster. Back in the lab, Dr. Reyes admitted the truth. She told Danny that she was one of the most powerful mutants she had ever seen, but her superiors believed her abilities were too dangerous to control. So she injected poison into Danny's IV, causing her to slowly lose consciousness. Just then, Ron burst into the room through the ventilation shaft. She slashed Dr. Reyes with her claws, seriously injuring her. Reyes fought back, stabbing Ron in the leg with a scalpel before escaping. Despite the pain, Rain pulled off Danny's oxygen mask, disconnected the IV, and freed her. Meanwhile, Sam and Ilyana were still being chased by the nightmare creatures. Sam begged Ilyana to use her powers, but she was frozen with fear because these monsters had come straight from her own worst nightmares. With no other choice, Sam unleashed his blast powers, destroyed the creatures around them, and escaped. He soon found Roberto, who had been trying to break through the facility's exits, but every door was still sealed behind Dr. Reyes's energy barriers. As they searched for the others, even more monsters surrounded them. Just when things looked hopeless, Ilyana finally faced her fears. She summoned her soul sword and powerful magical abilities, cutting down every monster in her path. The group reunited inside Dr. Reyes's office. Reyes had tried to murder Danny. While searching through the files, Ilyana found her own classified record. It described her as a dangerous killer and listed her as a living weapon. At that moment, they all realized the horrifying truth. The Essex Corporation had never planned to cure them. They had brought them here to train and weaponize them. Danny knew they had no time to waste. If we don't stop her now, she'll kill all of us. Sam pointed out that the entire facility was still surrounded by energy shields. Even if we survive, how are we supposed to get out? Danny answered, "We'll find a way, but first we stop Reyes." Using Ron's enhanced sense of smell, the group tracked Dr. Reyes through the facility. Even though she was badly wounded, Reyes still trapped everyone inside powerful energy bubbles. No one could escape. She admitted she only wanted Danny dead because those were her orders. "If you hand her over, I'll let the rest of you live." Then she tightened Danny's bubble and began draining the oxygen from inside it. Just as Danny was about to suffocate, her powers erupted. The gigantic demon bear burst through the wall of the hospital. Within seconds, it grabbed Dr. Reyes and devoured her. The moment she died, every energy shield and containment bubble disappeared. But Danny lost consciousness and became trapped inside another nightmare. The others carried her to safety, realizing the terrifying truth. The demon bear wasn't just attacking them. It had been born from Danny's own fear and wanted to destroy her. Ilyana told everyone else to find shelter. Then she opened a magical portal and teleported straight toward the demon bear. Beside her appeared her loyal dragon, Lockheed, ready to fight. The two charged into battle together. Meanwhile, Sam rushed in to help Ilyana, while Roberto and Ron took Danny inside a nearby church. But the demon bear smashed its way into the church and attacked Ron and the unconscious Danny. Sam slammed into the creature with full force, even breaking one of its massive teeth, but the impact sent him crashing to the ground. Ilyana joined the fight with her soul sword, but she was injured as well. Roberto unleashed his fire powers, yet nothing could stop the monster. Desperate, Ron leaned over Danny and whispered, "Danny, you have to wake up. You're the only one who can stop this." Inside her nightmare, Danny heard her father's voice, "Wake up, or your friends will die." Those words finally reached her. Danny opened her eyes. Instead of fighting the demon bear, she calmly walked toward it. Everyone watched in shock. Looking directly into the creature's eyes, Danny softly said, "It's okay. You don't have to fight anymore." The demon bear let out one final roar, then it slowly calmed down. As Danny accepted her fear, instead of running from it, the monster began to fade away until it disappeared completely. The nightmare was finally over. Everyone looked at Danny with relief and pride. To make sure they were truly free, Sam tossed the piece of coal his father had given him high into the sky. This time, it passed straight through. The invisible barrier was gone. For the first time, the 5 young mutants were finally free. Together, they walked away from the facility, ready to face whatever came next.